The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for attending today's webinar. We're going to cover just a brief WIN-911 technical update with a focus on our Wonderware channel. Just a few housekeeping rules, or I guess introduction of myself. My name is Steve Zabo. I see some familiar names here attending, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm in charge of business development here within our international business markets, so EMEA, Asia. So yeah, just a few things on the housekeeping front. So this webinar will be recorded. I will once I get it uploaded, distribute it out to everyone along with the PowerPoint deck. And as I mentioned, for this webinar, I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible. I'm going to be focusing on what's new from the past 12, 18 months with the WIN-911 product. And then towards the end, we'll have some time for Q&A. For the Q&A session at the end, if you look at your GoToWebinar control panel, there should be a place there where you can enter questions. Feel free to enter those at any time. I'll pull those up towards the end of the meeting, and we can go through those and provide you some answers. So the agenda for today, we will focus on specifically product updates and enhancements since January 2018 up until the present. We will then go into some Wonderware specific updates and on the Wonderware integration, particularly with System Platform, InTouch Edge HMI. I then want to discuss a little bit about our new mobile apps, WIN-911 Mobile, and the beta program that we've just recently launched. And then wrapping up the presentation, I would like to go over some technical resources, commercial resources that we've made available recently to you guys that you can find on our website. So we'll take a look at where those are, and then we'll finish up the meeting with a Q&A session. So, product updates. So we've had 7 official releases since January 2018. So this will be the focus of today's presentation. We'll start with just kind of general product updates, and then as mentioned, a focus on the individual SCADA integrations that we've done there. Now, this will be covering enhancements, feature updates, not so much like the bug list or repairs on bugs. So for a full list of all the changes that I've made, I encourage you to go take a look at our release notes. The latest release notes you can always find on our website under documentation, technical documents. It'll be labeled with our latest release, currently is 3.19.5. And this is a running document, so you can go back and see the changes that were made in subsequent releases. So, general product enhancements, let's get going. So, first one here, re-notify on state change and auto-act options for basic tactics. So what we have here is this was additional features that we brought into the WIN-911 standard and WIN-911 interactive license levels. These used to only be available if you had the highest level WIN-911 advanced package. So what are these two options here if you have not seen them? So on the basic tactics, which is what you've got available to you with a standard or interactive license, we were always sending re-notifying on a state change. So if the alarm goes to normal, it becomes acknowledged, we would always send out a re-notification in that case. What we've done is we've added an option there where you can disable the re-notification. So in a lot of cases, you're looking for just that initial alarm info, and we can now just provide that to you by simply unchecking the option to re-notify. We've also added an option to do auto acknowledges on as the alarm returns to its normal state or when the alarm goes inactive. This was an option that was available in our version 7 product, where when the alarm goes to normal, our software would auto acknowledge it. So this was another option that you needed an advanced tactic to be able to execute. So we brought this down to the basic tactic level. So a few additional options there for our WIN-911 standard and WIN-911 interactive users. Automatic recovery for lost TAPI voice modem connection. So this specifically deals with as we're making phone calls with this TAPI modem and an analog phone line, we go to use it at some point and the modem appears to not be there. It possibly was disconnected and it's reconnected, or maybe we had a number of failed outbound calls. In either case, we've now got a method in place to try and reestablish or make a reconnection without, automatically. And so this should help repair a lot of those instances where we may have lost connection to the modem. We've also implemented the ability to hide acknowledgement controls from our log viewer. So for the customers that do not want operators to have the ability to act alarms remotely, whether it be over a text message or an email, if they pulled up our log viewer, we had an acknowledgement button sitting there as well. And so we've put in some controls to where you can now hide that to prevent an acknowledgement from occurring from within the log viewer. We also added support this past year for SQL Server 2017 and Windows 10 1809. Windows 10 now has, Microsoft's decided that instead of releasing service packs, they're going to do kind of these build releases, major build releases, I should say. And particularly, I think the latest one that's out now is 1809. Some of these have changes or updates have affected us in the past. So it's important that we're staying on top and testing out the new builds as they're released. So we are now in our system requirements listing out, Windows 10 and then the current build or up to the build we've tested with. So I want to stress to keep an eye on that, because as new builds of Windows 10 come out, we need to make sure that we're testing them and certified it, and that will be listed in the system requirements, which can be found on our website. I'll actually be showing you exactly where that's at in a little bit. We've improved call termination error handling for voice calls as well. This basically says when the call is made, you answer the phone, you type in an authorization code, we begin giving you your alarm messages. If you were to get disconnected or actually just hang up the phone without taking any action, there was a long timeout period that would actually hold us up from making another phone call. And so although we were knowing immediately when you got off the phone, there was some delay in there that we've now pretty much removed. And as you hang up or the phone call has ended, we know and we can immediately take the next action required without having that delay there. We also spent time certifying the new LTE or 4G cellular modems. So this is the same line of multi-tech modems, but this just with the newer 4G radio set. Currently for Europe, we are still carrying the HSPA+, the 3G plus modems. But the 4G version has been tested and is supported. I think we'll be carrying those modems as well soon, and we'll begin selling those with a possibility of replacing the HSPA modems with the newer 4G LTE version. We've also implemented an automatic recovery for specific OPC server faults. So I've added this in here as kind of a general product enhancement because I do realize that some of our customers using direct connects with InTouch or system platform also are utilizing OPC connections. So this is actually an important fix or adjustment that we've made in the software. To give you a little background on what the problem was here. So as WIN-911 connects into an OPC server, like any other client, we're going to ask for updates for all the items that we have defined. And so as the updates come through, normally they're coming through with a good quality, good value, good timestamp, and everything's great. But in other cases, we could get a bad quality. Just a bad quality on its own is not a problem. We just kind of ignore the event. We wait for another event to come through where the quality is going to be good. So that's okay. That all works fine. Where you can run into a problem is if we get a bad quality event, but we also get an OPC DA server fault along with it. A good example of this is if you define the tag or item wrong, incorrectly. So in our software, you have it as written down as one way, but that does not exist in the OPC server. You will get a bad quality update for that, but also it'll mention something along the lines of this tag does not exist. Now, instead of us trying to keep connecting to this tag, we just drop the handle for that item and ignore it. A lot of OPC server faults are not recoverable, and so this is normally how those are handled. However, we have found some faults that are recoverable, and so what we've done is we're looking for these specific faults that we know we can recover from, and if we get updated with a bad quality in one of these certain server faults, we will treat it as just as if it was a bad quality. We will keep the handle on the item. We will wait for another update to come through that becomes a good quality at some point, and we continue on monitoring this item. So the three server faults that we are checking for to maintain a connection with would be a server shutdown, RPC server unavailable, and an unspecified error. It actually comes through listed unspecified error. We feel those three are recoverable faults, so we continue to hold the handle for those items. And then finally, this is over maybe 3 different releases, improved some performance and reduced some memory usage when it comes to bursts of alarms within some of the modules, in particular the dispatcher and our SMS module. For example, in the dispatcher, we found an issue where memory usage would go up when you had the log viewer running for a number of weeks continuously. So we optimized some memory usage issues there. We also found, for instance, in the SMS module, we removed this bookkeeping of roles. So roles are used to group people, but the roles actually live in a different space. There was no need for the SMS module to also be kind of bookkeeping the roles, and so we were able to cut that out and help reduce memory usage, increase the performance, and this really showed its head when you were seeing bursts of hundreds and hundreds of alarms come in. So happy to have that implemented this as well. So we'll start off with the system platform integration. So the big things throughout 2018, a number of system platform releases. So we did certify support for System Platform 2017, and then as Update 1, Update 2, and Update 3 were released, we were able to certify against all 3 of those. The first versions of, let's say over a year back in 2017, the first versions of our System Platform Direct Connect required that our WIN-911 System Platform module run as an application. Now, most of our modules are running as Windows services. There was a reason we had to implement it that way, and that was the best option at the time. But this past year, we were able to work with Wonderware, get around some of those things that were holding us back, and now the System Platform module will run as a service. There's no more option to run as an application. I think in this scenario, you always want it running as a service, and so happy to have that now running as an actual Windows runtime service. We also, another big feature I think that we've added was this idea of a heartbeat. So the system platform module now can provide a heartbeat back to a system platform attribute. And so the purpose of this is within your screen, you can actually determine if WIN-911 is healthy and alive and communicating with your system platform alarm server. We've got a webinar that covers this in detail. I'll show you in a little bit where you can find our webinars if you're not already aware. But I would encourage you to take a look at that webinar to get more details on how that can be implemented. But I think that's a good use of providing visibility into the health of WIN-911 back at the SCADA system. We also added an ACK option in here that allows you to preserve your alarm comment when something's acknowledged. So previous versions, when you acknowledged the alarm within WIN-911, possibly added an ACK comment, this was sent back to system platform and then would always override the alarm comment. And so what we're doing now is you've got the option to say, no, I don't want you to override my alarm comment with the ACK comment, similar to a setting you have in system platform. And finally, we made an adjustment to the timestamps that we were using for watchdogs. Instead of relying on the system platform server's timestamps, we're now using local timestamps, and this just happened to be because of some anomalies we were catching, I think particularly across networks, that was providing an issue for our watchdogs, which for those of you that aren't familiar with the watchdog, provides similar to the heartbeat, but in the other direction. So this provides a way for WIN-911 to monitor the connection to system platform, and if there's any problems, we can trigger alarm within our software and do a notification. And so we are checking against timestamps there. So that's what we have for the system platform updates in the past 18 months. If we take a look at InTouch, also we've got support for InTouch 2017. You're going to see a lot of similar updates as we were going through with the system platform. Support for update 1, update 2, update 3. Again, added a heartbeat functionality to the InTouch module. We had run into some issues after the initial releases of our InTouch module to InTouch systems running in terminal services. And this had to do with the way WIN-911 interacts to window viewer, and how we could only connect to a window viewer running in the console session. When running in terminal services, multiple instances of a window viewer are launched, and we need to make sure we're connecting to the right one, and particularly the one that has the alarm manager running on it. And so we now give you the option to define where that is. We're not just assuming it's this console app or the one that is running at the time. And so that's been provided for you, so we can always make sure we're connecting to the right alarm server. Also, we were able to provide an option to run the InTouch module as a Windows service. In this case, I'd say it's slightly different than system platform, to where in majority cases, you're still going to run the WIN-911 InTouch module as an application. There are some corner cases where you may need to run that module as a service, but in majority of installs, you'll still be running it as an application, having it launch up with window viewer. Also, we adjusted for the watchdogs, the timestamps and what we were monitoring. So again, monitoring local times for the timestamps instead of the InTouch server timestamps. Similar problem there as it explained to the system platform. And then another adjustment we made was had to do with acknowledgments and the user or the WIN-911 user that's actually doing the ACK or the actor. And so what we were logging, if you looked in the log viewer, would show when the alarm got acknowledged that it would log the computer name and slash and then the word none. And that's actually the reason for that is as an acknowledgement occurred from a cell phone, SMS text message, an email, it would come back to WIN-911. We would then push this on to InTouch. Through our connection from WIN-911 to InTouch, it would get acknowledged. And InTouch would see this as, okay, it's been acknowledged by this computer. And it would pass the information back to us with basically that computer name slash none. And that was what was getting logged. That didn't help people out very much when we're sending acknowledgement replies to let everyone know who's responded to the alarm. So we're now actually logging the actor who within the WIN-911 system acknowledged it. So Steve's by SMS or Steve by voice. And now that gets logged and everyone sees that in their acknowledgement messages, acknowledgement confirmation messages. And finally, we also added an area to give you the ability to define a separate node name for the alarm queries and for the SweetLink connection. So WIN-911 makes the connection to InTouch using an alarm toolkit to pull the alarms, and then SweetLink, we use SweetLink to do acknowledgments. And so the reason we needed both of these is you may want to specify a different node name for the alarm toolkit or where the instance is that we're going to be collecting the alarms from. And then when we do the acknowledgments are actually going to write data through window viewer. And so at times, again, with terminal services can play a role in this. There may be two separate node names in order to have the alarms coming in through one channel and acknowledgments happening through another. And so that's been implemented as well. On to InTouch Edge HMI. So this past year, we also added support for InTouch ME. So this was prior to 2018, we did not have a direct connection to InTouch ME. So the first version we supported there was 8.1. Throughout the year, Service Pack 1 was released, so we claimed support for 8.1 SP1 as well. Then, as we're getting further into 2018, there was a rebranding, as you probably know, on InTouch ME. It is now called InTouch Edge HMI. So we have also rebranded our software to cover InTouch Edge HMI. And there was a new Service Pack 3 release for that. So we do have support for InTouch Edge HMI 8.1 SP3. We still have support for InTouch ME 8.1 and 8.1 Service Pack 1. These will all be represented in the WIN-911 software as just InTouch Edge HMI. I also wanted to add in here that the other kind of side of the InTouch Edge HMI product is the InDoSoft Web Studio. So just wanted to mention that support for 8.1, 8.1 Service Pack 1, and 8.1 Service Pack 3 of Web Studio are also supported in our software. Again, that's going to all be defined under the InTouch Edge HMI workspace. And just a little update, in 2000 and some point this year, we plan to get support for the Web Studio update 4. So moving into the future, not too far in the future, May 22nd, 2019, we plan to have another release. This is going to be version 3.19.9. And I want to talk a little bit about some high-level highlights here. There's actually some other enhancements, changes, updates that we're making, but they're not really pertaining to the Wonderware SCADA portfolio, so I've left those off on this slide. But there's two pieces that I'd really like to talk about. One has to do with the voice changes, and the second has to do with, well, pretty straightforward. We will have support for Microsoft Server 2019. So talking a little bit about the voice changes that we're going to be making. We are going to be eliminating the voice mailbox. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with what that means, within the WIN-911 software, we've had the ability to save alarm messages as when you get the phone call. So you can actually listen to the alarm and save it into a mailbox, which we hold. The other option or reason for this mailbox is if we were to give you a phone call, we know we've got this set of alarms that we need to deliver to you, but we can't get a hold of you right now. Or we call you and you're drop out of service for 30 minutes. You want to call back in when you're back in service to hear those alarms. We had this idea of a mailbox. This is a new feature than what we provided with our older version 7 software. But as we've moved on with this, it seems as though the mailbox is not really being utilized. One, also it seems to be causing more problems or more pain points, I should say, than it's helping. And so the big issues we've seen and a lot of requests that have come in from our customers and partners was, with this idea of saving these messages, if I haven't listened to some of these or acknowledged them or take some action, the next time I get a phone call, there's a lot of these messages stacked up that I have to listen to. And so with voice being already, a slower notification method, we're looking at ways to optimize and efficiently move through, listening to these alarm messages and taking an action as quick as possible. And so we feel the best way to do this is to completely eliminate this voice mailbox. We also are going to add in the ability to act or skip voice messages while they're in the playback. There were points where you were having to wait until the very end to take some action, and just could really take a long time. I think the voice mailbox added to that problem, but so we're looking forward to getting those out. The release is scheduled for May 22nd. I think we're on track for that, so I left the date on there. Okay, so we can start talking about new and exciting products. WIN-911 Mobile. So this is our new smartphone app. What we've done is we've actually just launched a beta program for the new mobile apps on May 1st. So we're running a 2-month beta program that I wanted to bring up to everyone here. Encourage everyone to get on the website, sign up. We've got 2 ways for you to participate in the beta program, a very quick, simple way to just download the app and connect into a live demo server that we've got running. You log in, you're in for about, I think you keep a session for 15 minutes. You can get alarms, interact with the new app, acknowledgments, do report requests. And then after the 15 minutes, we'll take you out of the list. This will prevent you from getting push notifications from us forever. Also, you can actually just log right back in to do more testing at any point. We also are going to give you the ability to set this whole system up internally and test it locally. In order to do that, we're going to need to issue you a new version of WIN-911, which is a beta version, 3.19.7. You will actually get your own WIN-911 mobile gateway account, which is an account that's going to be living in Azure cloud services. So we would issue one of those and get you a demo extension so you can test for the full 2 months. And so through the beta program and hopefully providing us feedback, we're going to do a prize drawing at the end of the 2 months. And so the prizes that we'll be offering is the grand prize will be an 11-inch iPad Pro. We will have 5 $100 Amazon gift cards and 5 Yeti 30-ounce insulated tumblers. Helps keep your drinks cold or hot for a very long time. So that'll be branded with our WIN-911 mobile logo. So how can you find out more information about this? We launched this beta back on May 1st, at which point we did a long, nice webinar for the whole beta program, what's entitled, how to use the app, good overview on the product, good overview on the setup. I think it's about a 45-minute webinar. So I don't want to spend the time to go through that now. I think the resources are there online to take a look at that when you have a chance. Also, we've got a mobile beta quick start guide there and the enrollment form. What I can do is I can pull up the website quickly and show you where that's at. So there's two ways to get to the mobile beta program. When you go to the website, it's right front and center. You can get directly to the beta webpage from here or under the products. Under products, and then we have WIN-911 mobile beta. So from here, you will find the mobile beta launch webinar that will provide you all the information you need to participate, along with the information we have on this webpage. We have a link to the presentation itself that was used in the webinar. We have a quick start guide. You can quickly download the apps using the QR codes we have here. The Android app will be on Google Play. For the Apples, we'll be using a program called Test Flight, which will actually download that program and then load in our beta mobile WIN-911 mobile app. Also, quick and simple instructions to do that live demo, that quick demo. So you can follow those here, and then we have the enrollment form down below. You do not need to enroll just to download and demo the app. However, we need you to enroll if you want to be involved in the prize drawing. And then obviously if you want to set this up locally, we're going to need you to fill out this form so we can send you the appropriate links for the WIN-911 beta. We can get a mobile gateway login set up for you on Azure and get you a demo extension. So in order to win the prizes, the more feedback you submit, the more chances you have to win. And this is going to be going through July 1st. Okay, so to kind of wrap up the presentation, there's going to be, we'll be moving a little bit around on the website here, but I have included the topics and links to get to some of the resources that I'm going to show you. So you'll have these in the PowerPoint when I send those over. But first, I'd like to focus on out of all of these resources, the technical resources. So we've spent a lot of time working with our system integrators, partners, customers, asking them, what else can we be providing you to help make you successful? And I think we did a survey, it might even have been at the end of 2017, where we had a huge response to short how-to videos to explain configurations, maintenance, how to use the software. And so since then, we've been hard at work. We've now done 34 how-to videos, which can be found on the website. And I think we continue to put these up. They're anywhere from like 5 to 20-minute videos working on a specific, mostly technical topic. We've also put a lot of resources into our installation checklist. So this is something we just recently released, maybe in March, end of March. And I definitely want to show you where these are located at. I have a feeling we have a lot of partners that aren't aware they're there. And we'll talk a little bit more in detail on that. Also, network diagrams, that's also something new that we had a lot of requests for. And then finally, I wanted to touch on our system requirements. Those have been there for a long time, but there's a few bits of information that I just want to make clear everyone is paying attention to as we move forward. So let's take a look at the website and go through some of these. So if we're looking for the how-to videos, you'll find them actually in two places, either under resources, we've got our how-to videos, or you can get to them from support. We also have the how-to videos there. If you click on the how-to video link, it brings you to a page where we've got our links down the left side here. These are all posted on YouTube. So we have a WIN-911 YouTube channel that has all of these videos as well, and actually a playlist for our how-to videos. But we have these grouped up as general, data source setup, notifiers, and dispatchers. So maybe you want to know what's the difference between basic tactics and strategies to advanced tactics and strategies. We've got explanations on there. Or how do I set up subscription filters and import with InTouch. So the how-to videos are there. I encourage you to take a look at those. It's been a great resource. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from our partners on them. We'll continue to add to this list. As we have available, they will go up here. The rest of the technical documents will all live under the documentation, so resources documentation section. This is also where you can find those release notes that I talked about at the beginning of the presentation. And where we'll focus on for the moment is in this first section, which is labeled the WIN-911 Standard Interactive Advanced. And we have two new sections as of this year for our install checklists and our network diagrams. So the install checklists are broke out into specific SCADA packages. So the idea is if you've got a project where you're going to be doing an installation with system platform, and then the goal is you should be able to come here with this install checklist, download it. These are going to be anywhere from 20 to 30 pages, and it's going to have all the information you need before going and doing the installation. So this would be something you would start with prior to heading to the site. You would read through here. We actually start the document off with an actual checklist, making sure you understand how these things work. If not, you can know the specific sections to go to review. Also, do you have the right information? Do you have a service user to install us with? And then each of these documents includes the sections required for notifications. So for this particular project, I'm going to be doing SMS and VoIP. So I have sections in here that I can read through to make sure I have all the materials and information required to be ready to go get this software set up. And we also built, we have a little video explaining kind of how to use the document, also posted on the YouTube channel. And so what else do we have here? We've got network diagrams. So this I could see both on a technical aspect, engineering, but also on a commercial aspect. We get this question a lot. I've got an installation. Here are my InTouch. I have an InTouch server here. I've got remote desktop. Where does WIN-911 need to be installed? And what products, what licenses do I need to make this work? So this is the idea of our architecture diagrams. And so for instance, if I scroll down here, I have a redundant InTouch application with WIN-911 and a hot backup system. So here's the licenses you'll need for WIN-911. Here's your options on where you should install it. InTouch remote desktop server with a single WIN-911 system. You know, what licenses do I need? Where can it go? So those are located there. And I think, oh, and finally the system requirements. So system requirements are up here under technical documents. The two just parts that I wanted to emphasize was, as I mentioned earlier, Windows 10, with the new way they're doing releases, please keep an eye on the build versions. We will keep this up to date as we test through. So currently we're up to Windows 10 version 18.9, tested and certified. And then the other piece is if you scroll down, we also keep, this is up to date, a live running record of the SCADA versions. So as I mentioned, InTouch Edge HMI, InTouch EMEA system platform. So now moving on to commercial resources. Just want to bring attention, we have a new WIN-911 overview video. Did a pretty good job on, pretty happy with it. It's not sure how many people know that we replaced the old one. So I'll show you where that's located at, but I think it's a great marketing tool. We are doing monthly webinars. I don't know if we keep up exactly every month, but we are up to 21 videos on our YouTube channel and on the website. And this is longer than our how-tos, so this can run anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And it's going to cover a specific topic, sometimes technical, sometimes on the commercial end. It could be a joint webinar with a system integrator. Just depends, but we've got the archive for you to look through there. I also want to talk about the product matrix, which we've had for some time, but I think it's a great tool, and we've added some other additional resources within the document. Something new that we did introduce in the past 12 months was our interactive quote builder. So we'll take a look at that on the website. And then finally, in the documentation section, I've got a place where we've listed out manufacturer details for the hardware we sell. That's another question I get a lot, so I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of that information and where you can find it. So we'll go back to the website to take a look at these. So back on win911.com, if you just click the resources at the top here or the brochures section, this brings you into a web page where you can get case study links, our brochures. We're going to be we're putting together some new brochures, so an update to the brochures, data sheets, and we're also working on a new page to allow you to pay for support. So hopefully that's going to be something coming in the next few months, along with some new data sheets. But the overview video that I was referring to is here at the top. Again, it's on our YouTube page as well. Great tool if you need to send that off or take a look. Anyone else interested in the product. So the rest will be under the products section here. Of course, maybe the best tool we have commercially is the fact that our software can be downloaded, runs fully functional in a demo mode for 30 days. That can be found under our software downloads or hitting the link at the top, download a 30-day free trial. Okay, so let's talk about the product matrix. So this will be compare products, second option under the products tab. And as we scroll down here, this basically breaks out our 3 license levels, standard, interactive, advanced, and what is included in each one of them. We've got a video that's also tied to this explaining the differences. And then you'll see we've got learn more options here. So, you may get down here and see, okay, the difference between advanced and interactive looks to be the basic tactic strategies, advanced tactic strategies. What's the difference between those? Premium voice, what's that? Can I learn more here? Network diagrams defined down at the SCADA Direct Connect level. So there's the compare products, and right below that, we've got a way to build a quote out. So this kind of gives you two functionalities. One is, okay, can I get a ballpark idea of what's the cost of the software? So this is all based off of just our list prices that we have posted on the website. So you can clearly see, okay, we've got standard, interactive, advanced, and a price point there. But then also, I think the importance of this is to help you understand, well, okay, what are the options available to me and how do I build this out? And so if I come in here and select interactive, it brings us down to a place where we can select add-ons that are only available to the interactive package. We have some details explaining, okay, WIN-911 nodes, what is that? I can get a link there, and so forth. So great tool. Glad to have that finally available to everyone. Let's see, where else are we at? Oh, and then finally, just the hardware resources. So we go back under resources, documentation. And then we're going to scroll down below our standard interactive advanced section that we've been in under the mobile smartphone apps. And I've got the hardware section here. And so what this is this is actually giving you manufacturer make and model number of all the hardware we sell. On the price list, we reference these part numbers as well, so you can match them up to our part numbers if necessary. But we've got the links to the manufacturer's website, the data sheets for this hardware, installation guides, depending on what it is. So I think that can be a useful resource to some of you. Okay, and with that said, looks like that's going to end the webinar. We'll go into some Q&A session, but before we get into that, I just want to make one other mention. The beta program is running until July 1st. So please jump on the website, take a look at the mobile beta launch webinar, and get the app downloaded. All the feedback we get, it's only going to help us make the product better for release time. We like to hear your opinions, what's working, what's not. Does everything look clear? Is there something we could do better? And so look forward to your feedback. Thanks for your time, and we can take some questions.